So it finished at the Emirates today. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 1. We'll talk about in a minute what we all thought of it. This is going to be the Arsenal fan reaction show. Hello, I'm Richard. Welcome back to my channel. Over and over again, the positive Arsenal channel. It's a bit difficult to feel really positive at the moment following that game. It did finish, as I say, Manchester City 0, Arsenal 1. We're going to get some fans in just to have a quick reaction, really, to what everybody else made of another disappointing defeat for Arsenal in the Premier League, the 11th defeat that we've suffered actually in the league this season, which is far too many, isn't it, really? I suppose today's one is slightly different circumstances, maybe, but we'll talk about that. So yeah, stay tuned as we've got some fan reaction coming. Ryan, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. What did you make of it in the end then today? What did you make of it all?
Well, lost my patience with this manager. That pretty much sums it up. I wasn't really too happy with certain players in the lineup, if I'm going to be honest with you. El Nene in, that just said to me everything. Holding, I mean, I picked him in my preview just because I thought about fitness, but ultimately that was a joke. But it's just the usual stuff. We just stand there and do absolutely nothing. And what I thought was ironic was the fact how in games where we've tried to start quick and, you know, try to have a shot on or off target, it happens to us and we can see. So ultimately, I was very, very annoyed. The substitutions as well and the manner, I mean, then again, I'm used to it. Arteta does this time and time again. That's 11 defeats this season. Honestly, it's just... I don't know. I like I said, I've had enough of this manager, man. I don't really care what anyone says to me and give it time and trust the process, all that rubbish. I've had enough. Honestly. And it's not like I expected Arsenal to win. Sorry, I didn't expect Arsenal to win, but perform better. Better. Fight.
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I think that the whole game in the end was decided in the first 5 minutes, wasn't it? With a terrible start. I mean, what did you make of the goal we conceded?
Do you know what? There's 3 players here you have to really look at. Tierney, Bellerin, and Holding. Now, Tierney, he should have done a lot better or got a little bit closer to Morris.
Yeah.
To try and stop that cross. Okay, that's Tierney. Holding, where your awareness is absolutely atrocious. You have got to be looking behind you. And Bellerin looked like he just jumped for the sake of it. Not even near enough or close enough to Sterling. Yeah. So if ultimately Tierney does get a blame from not trying to stop the cross, but Holding and Bellerin for me are the bigger culprits. Okay? Like, I'm not saying Tierney doesn't play a part in it, he does, but ultimately to defend, you got to check your area. Holding. You just signed a new deal and you're doing this crap. Bellerin,
terrible. Yeah, it was terrible.
Bellerin, man. I've been done with Bellerin for years. And it's just the same old rubbish. So, I don't know. Sterling always scores against us.
He does, yeah. I mean, the thing that annoyed me about that goal more than anything is if it was a 6'4" centre forward who got a header in that close, you'd think fair enough. But when it's 5'8" Raheem Sterling, nobody marking him that close to goal, it's ridiculous. Terrible. We can't afford to give away a goal like that in a game like this against a team that doesn't concede goals. You can't, within 2 minutes, letting that soft goal, really. And we never recovered from that, did we? I mean, Daniel there says he seems to not agree with you about getting had enough of Arteta, but I suppose everyone's entitled to their opinion, aren't they? That's fair enough.
don't have a problem.
I prefer to give him time still. I can see signs that we've improved, but I understand other people maybe don't agree with that, and that's fine. You know, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
and you know what? I'm not angry at people that, you know, want to give the manager time, this, that, and the third. Look, we all want what's best for Arsenal, and I get that. And look, if my opinion is different to yours, fine. But that doesn't make me any less of an Arsenal fan than you. That's how I look at it. I just think it's too big for him. It's as simple as that. Where we end up at the end of the season, is everybody going to be satisfied? Because I don't see us breaking into that top 6. Forget top 4, that was done long time. But top 6, it's going to be difficult. And then what happens next season if we go through the same thing again? Are people going to still tell me he needs more time? I mean, I blame the owners more than I blame Arteta. Don't get it twisted. But you're the manager. You've got to be getting into these players and telling them, listen, you need to be out there. You need to be fighting for the 3 points. Yes, it's Manchester City, and they are simply 2-3 classes above us. But fight, for crying out loud. Fight. Because I've seen more fight in West Brom versus Liverpool than I saw today. And that was before Liverpool started to tumble down to where they are. That's just how I look at it, man. Honestly.
No, and you're entitled. Of course, you're entitled to it. But that's what this is all about, isn't it? You know, not everybody feels the same. Not everybody has the same opinions, and that's what it's all. If we all agreed with everybody all the time, we might no much fun with it. So, you know, you're entitled to think that as well, and that's fine. I mean, I thought that for 80 minutes of that game, we maybe competed pretty well against Man City, considering they're a good side. Yes, they had the better chances. We didn't make the most of the few opportunities that we had, but they're a good side and they're better than us. And I think ultimately that this is where we are currently at the moment with this group of players. You know, we need new signings, and I agree with you about the owners. They need to invest in this team in the summer. But it is frustrating. I was really frustrated watching that, because it was, like you said before, the same old things, isn't it? That's we've been looking at all season, and unfortunately it all came in together in that first 10 minutes today. And the one thing we had to do in this game against Man City was start well. We had to keep it to 0-0 for as long as we could, keep ourselves in the game, and then you never know. But conceding after 2 minutes, everything's out the window, your game plan's gone. And against a team that doesn't concede goals, and we don't score many at home, what could we have done from there, really? I mean, in the end, I suppose we could say we only lost 1-0, which maybe isn't a disaster, but I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I'll say I was frustrated, really frustrated. I agree with Daniel there. We have bought the wrong players in the past, and hopefully we're putting that right now with some of the players that we've brought in the last few minutes. Anyway, well, just before you go, mate, who would be your man in the match? I know it's difficult probably to pick a man in a match after all that, because no one really stood out, did they? But who would you go for if you had to pick one?
I don't even know. Maybe Leno. I don't know. I just think not everybody was up to par. I thought maybe Saka, because he tried a little bit more harder than other people. I'll give the Saka, because he tried harder than everybody else as an outfield player, to be honest. But Saka for me. Very difficult to pick one today. I thought nobody really stood out. But I suppose Saka's as good a shout as anyone, isn't he? He was probably our most creative player on the day. At least he was taking the game to them, wasn't he? Whenever he could. And I guess that's probably the best we could hope for. Anyway, well, thanks for coming on, Ryan. Just quickly give your channel a plug before you go, mate. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate you having me on. Guys, want to check out my content, Ryan Williams ASC, down below, of course. Subscribe, of course. Trying to get 100 subscribers, currently on 81. So, guys, help me out here. And if you want to talk to me on Twitter, it's there as well at RJ Wells. But, Rich, thanks again for letting me have my say. Appreciate it.
No, always welcome, man. Always welcome. Yeah, anytime. We'll speak again soon anyway, yeah?
All right, take care.
Take it easy, mate. Cheers. Speak to you soon.
See you.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya. Bye. Bye. And now we've got Gary from BWTC. I know you've got to get off soon, so I'll just quickly get you on before you have to go. I know you've got your own show to do. What did you make of that today, then, mate? What did you make of the performance?
Well, I know they're the number one team in the league, but that's not a reason to lay down. I mean, I felt like we laid down today. We didn't come out as urgent with some urgency as I thought we would. We needed to have a really good game today. Not only just because of the game itself, but we have a game on Thursday we need to be ready for as well. So whatever we get out of this game, I wanted to be able to bring some of that over to our next game, right? And I don't think we did that today. I mean, I think we came out, it looked like we came out pretty flat, like we'd already kind of conceded the game already. And it's like, and even at halftime, we went up, came back, and same thing. It didn't seem like, the urgency was there to get something out of a game like this, especially you look around the league this weekend and there's been points, not taken or not, lost that allow us to kind of get back into this thing. I mean, this is, we've got two wars, two fronts to attack with, and we need to be able to play our best in all of them, in both of them actually. And today was a big letdown for me as far as the way we came out, especially after coming so close in the last game, having opportunities lost. This game, we knew they were going to come. They're just going to be they're going to be less than the last one. So we got to be ready to take them when they come. And I don't feel like we took those advantages when they came.
No.
We looked like we were conceded base. It looked like we were going for a 0-0 draw. And, the game hadn't, once again, in the first 2 minutes of a game, we looked like we're done. And it's like, come on, get some, we need some of that urgency, some of that leadership on the field to kind of get the team to keep it going, because we had opportunities today. We did. It is 1-0, and it feels like it was 4-0, right? I mean, because we just didn't take it. We didn't take it to them when we had a chance.
I didn't feel as though we got ourselves into some decent positions, actually, especially wide with Tierney a couple of times, Bellerin, and the final ball into the box. I mean, either the ball wasn't good enough, or when it was a half-decent ball, no one was attacking it. No one was taking that risk, were they, to get on the end of stuff? And, when you're playing against a team who don't concede goals, we had to be more proactive in the final third, I felt, today, especially after conceding that goal. And if we'd started stronger, if it had been 0-0, if it finished 0-0, I think we'd have all been reasonably satisfied. But when you're 1-0 down that early on, you've got to show a little bit more in the final third to try and get. I know they're a good side; they don't concede many goals, but we didn't really put them under enough pressure today, did we? In the end, it kind of, you could not see us scoring. I couldn't really at any point, even when we had good spells of possession. You didn't look as though we were going to score in a minute, did you? I never felt that we did, really.
No, I mean, at one point, I think it was like almost 70% possession for them, and we were able to get back, to about 44 for the game. So it's not like that we didn't have our foot on the ball for some of it. So we did have opportunities. It's a as I call it, it's a want to. You got to want to do certain things out there, and we just needed to be able to do that today. It was an opportunity for us for anybody to be become that hero for us today. Anyone, individual brilliance, team brilliance, a blip on their side, any mistakes on their side. I think there were mistakes on their side. We just couldn't capitalize on them. I mean, that El Neni shot, I mean, he brings that in a couple of feet, maybe it goes in, right? We had some, like you said, we had a lot of opportunities inside the box where we just didn't have the urgency to attack the ball and actually get a shot off. And that happened for many of the players. So those are opportunities lost that you just can't, you got to take them. I mean, City hasn't won every game this season, right? They haven't won every game this season, so there is an opportunity there. And I always said, they're coming in with their winning streak. At some point, it's going to stop, right? Why not this week? Why not a couple hours ago? No, I agree. I mean, they're not going to win every single game. Even Pep said that the other week, didn't he? But I mean, it was frustrating how we just didn't show enough urgency. I agree in the final third to really, determined to try to get a goal. I didn't think we were. We almost accepted a 1-0 defeat as though, well, that's not a bad result. And, we could, I thought it was there for us to maybe get a draw, get a goal. And who knows, if we could have got it back to 1-1, you never know, dear. We could have gone on and got more. But I felt it was an opportunity missed in a sense today that
I didn't think Man City played that well. Actually, if I'm honest, it wasn't a great game in terms of quality from either side.
I like to say that they didn't play well because that's what we wanted. We wanted that kind of a game, and we got it. And then we needed to do a little bit extra here and there because I think we've had a lot of these 1-0 games where if it was a different team, at least you would have seen maybe some of that thrust forward, that extra effort here to make take a little bit, dig deep in that, the energy well, pull something out of it and get something out of any opportunity that comes your way. And we just didn't, like I said, I wanted to build on this one for the next game because I think the next game is just as important as this one from a form standpoint from the team. And I'm hoping Arteta can get something out of this team next Thursday because it's going to be another team out there that they have nothing to lose, right? So like we should have had nothing to lose even when we were down 1-0 because nobody was expecting us to even, a 1-0 loss. If you look at the scoreline, you're like, wow, that must have been a good game. But if you watched it, you're like, well, for 2 minutes it was not, and then for the rest of for 88 minutes it was what? Nobody, they weren't taking their chances, and we needed to do that. We need to take our chances, man.
It was, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with this comment here from Kazza saying it's not really this result; it's more the other ones that we've had before. Yeah, that's true. If we hadn't lost half of those games that we shouldn't have lost earlier in the season, a 1-0 defeat at home to Man City probably wouldn't seem that bad. It's worse because it's our 11th defeat now in the Premier League, and that's what makes it worse than what it is, perhaps. But frustrating is what I found.
It's the past losses, but you know what? They come around, right? Those opportunities to maybe steal a point, steal a win, they come around for everyone. We've seen it with all the teams in the relegation zone getting wins against teams that they shouldn't even be coming close to. So that's when you take it. That's what you got to, when your back's against the wall, you got to get something out of it. And that's kind of how I felt today. We should have been able to try to do that. So it's not only because some of the wins you get too, right? Some of the wins you get lucky. I mean, we played West Ham early in the season. That is a really good win right now.
It was a really good win right now. We look at that, aren't they? So,
we almost lost that one. We were able to get the 3 points out of that, but they were attacking us at the end. So like I said, it's a big circle. It always comes around to you. You just got to jump on when it does.
No, exactly. I mean, I know it's probably a difficult decision, but who would be your man in a match for us today? I know it's a hard one, isn't it? Because
I heard you talking to I heard you talking to Ryan about that. It is difficult. I do agree that Saka and Leno are two players that I think today they didn't, at least for me, didn't provide too much negatives for me today at all. I mean, I think they did a lot of, Saka, he might make one play negative, two, plays, but he's going to be pretty much positive for most of the game. And that's what I saw today. I mean, even Tierney came out and I felt, that first goal, he had something to do with that. But then he has opportunities later on in the game that kind of nullify that. And that's what you want to be able to do as a player, is come back and do something positive after maybe you made a mistake here or there. And that's what he did, I believe, in this game. So not a best game for him, but if he's going to be primed and ready to go on Thursday, I'll take that. But I'm going to go with Saka. I mean, I think he's been, for the last 3 games, he's been a top player. Leno, I would say, was probably right there. Either one of those, and I wouldn't bat an eye in this game. So but I'm going to go with Saka again. I think my only concern now is Saka has been playing these really tough games, and now we've got the most important game of the season coming up, I believe, at least at this point with what's going on around us, that we have to get the win. I don't think a 0-0 draw is going to happen. So I think we need to go out and I think we need to go out there and win this game and forget about away goals and all of that, because I don't think it matters. It doesn't really matter, I feel, because they have nothing to lose. So we need to go out and win this.
Yeah, no, exactly. We do. Yeah, we've definitely got to get through. Steve there, the Arsenal Misfit, says he thought Leno for him, but I'd say it's probably between those two, isn't it? Out of everybody today, no one else really stood out particularly, did they? So, just before you go, then Gary, just give your little channel a plug as well, so people can know where to find you.
Yeah. So down below you can see DWTT. That's my channel. You search DWTT Arsenal, I pop up there. Don't Waste a Tweet is my Twitter handle. I'll be pushing out a video sometime today, hopefully it'll probably be late for those on the other side of the pond, me being over here in the US, with my My 5 segment. So I'll be going over about 5 players from the game that kind of I want to discuss. Not necessarily that they stood out one way or the other, but this before the game, I kind of look at the lineup and pick 5 players, and I'll talk about them based on what I saw. So look out for that. And thank you very much, Rich, for having me on. And can't wait for the next one. Hopefully, we'll have something, positive to talk about on that one. And,
yeah, let's hope so. No problem. I'll say Thursday, obviously, next game, so maybe then. No worries. Well, thanks for coming on, Gary. Pleasure as always, and we'll speak soon. Take it easy, mate.
Definitely. Thank you. You too.
Melvin, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy. Happy that game's over.
Oh, right, yes.
Hard work.
It was hard work.
Very hard work, I'm afraid.
I mean, the biggest... Yeah, I mean, the first 2 minutes, we've got to be better, haven't we? Against a team like that, we've got to start better. That's where it came down to at the end of it, didn't it?
Well, you're saying that I think someone in the watch along was saying that we're doing that. We got to blame the manager, we got to blame this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, if you're a professional footballer in our division, you should be up for a game. No one has to tell you to be up for a game, or let's keep it tight the first 5-10 minutes. No one should tell you that. If you're not good enough to do that, then I'm sorry, you're in the wrong game.
Yeah, it was a dreadful. I mean, I thought the first 10 minutes we looked like they'd never even seen each other before, the team, let alone play together.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. I mean, Man City should have been 2 or 3 up easily in that first 10 minutes. And luckily, after that, we did kind of settle into it a little bit more. But I don't know. I didn't think. I mean, what did you think of us in an attacking sense? Because we had a few opportunities or moments that I didn't feel we made the most of.
If you look at any game in our division over the last 10 years, however a team plays, however a good team plays against the bad team will get a chance or two. And that's where we were. We were no better than that. If Sheffield United played Liverpool last year, I can't remember the scores or whatever, but I'm sure they had a couple of chances to score goals. We didn't really show anything, I don't think, the attacking, if and buts, not good enough. We were close. I know Skinny had one shot on target, and a game like the Aston Villa game. I'm not saying Aston Villa's a Man City, but you had 89 minutes to try and get an equaliser, and we never got out of first gear. And really, you should throw caution to the wind at some stage, and we never did it. There's 2 games in the last 3, 89 minutes to try and get. It's not as if we're unlucky against Aston Villa or Man City. It's just we didn't deserve it because we didn't actually look like we wanted to score. We were happy to get beat 1-0, especially tonight. Not so much in Villa.
Yeah. I must admit, I felt that almost as though Arteta can go away thinking, well, we didn't get hammered by them, so that's not so bad. Whereas really, I thought there was an opportunity today to get a result against them because I didn't think Man City played that well. Apart from the first 10 minutes, after that, I didn't think they were that great. Their passing was a bit off. They didn't really cause us a lot of problems, did they? They didn't have a ton of chances after that first 10 minutes, did they? Really? They had 1 or 2, and that was it.
They had 1 or 2, Richard, but the other side of the coin is they didn't have to play well. I think if we would have equalised, say after 20 odd minutes, got the goal for whatever, half an hour, we would have done it. I think it could have gone, lifted us, or Man City go, what, we're fed up with this, get a couple straight away.
Yeah, possibly. That might have been. I guess we'll never know because we didn't get the goal, did we? But maybe they stayed in second gear because they didn't need to raise their game any more than that, did they? Because they knew they didn't have to against us today, and maybe that was why. I don't know, but I wasn't that impressed with Man City. I thought that they were there for the taking, actually, and I thought we could have, if we had shown a little bit more urgency in the final third, I thought we could have got a goal and got a draw, maybe. But
how can you show urgency in the final third when you've got 2 defensive-minded midfielders? How do you actually turn that into goals? So therefore, you're coming down the flanks, and they've got a very good right back. The left back ain't too shabby either. So therefore, where are we going to get goals from? They've only got to defend from 2 positions. The City defence, the left side and the right side, wide. Down the middle, we're going to put up a tea and cigar. And we're never going to score through the middle. And every Arsenal player, I don't know how you make man of the match. I mean, really, very, very difficult one that, because everyone played under par. There wasn't one person that played up to where they can play. Even Saka.
No.
I'm not having about Saka. I mean, he's been unbelievable. Even he can't do it by himself, let's face it. But even he was below par, which is unusual for him. I just think they all got worn down. The first minute goal, I mean, just first of all, Tierney's got to take part of the blame, but he was very clever, Morris, what he did. Cut inside, and he had a very short kick to cross it, and flicked it. He didn't actually put his leg back so Tierney could have got a bit closer. He did it very quickly, and you didn't expect it. And also the cross, it was a chip, because you've got to defend chips in the box. It wasn't it wasn't hard. I mean, I've never liked Bellerin next to Holding, no matter whoever else is playing defence. To me, it's a weakness, and they play it today between them with the help of Tierney, particularly. Scored the smallest man on the pitch gets ahead of the 6-yard box, and again you're thinking, what's it all about? I mean, I actually, except for a joke, said to the boy, I went, is this a recording of last year's game or the year before? Because it's the same thing, man. It's every time. First 10 minutes, Sterling will get a goal. It's the way the game's going. It's very disappointing. And basically, on Thursday, we need not just to get through the next round, to get a bit of confidence back. Because the boys, their heads down the whole game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, we did. I mean, like you said, maybe that early goal knocked us back quite a lot, and I don't think we ever totally recovered from that. I know we got a little bit more of a foothold in the game after that, but you're chasing a game against a team like Man City. I think we look too scared to commit too many men forward for getting caught out on a counter-attack. But if you don't commit enough men forward against them, you're never going to score, and that's where the game ended up. That was a pattern of the game in the end, wasn't it? They were comfortable at the back, and they had a couple of opportunities to get a second goal. They should have done maybe that Cancelo one, but I suppose, we look on it 1-0. Most people will probably think, well, that's not a bad result, is it? But I just felt frustrated the whole game, actually. I was frustrated from the start. You can't start like that in a game like this. You just can't. And we've done it before. Like you said, Aston Villa the other week, exactly the same. Stupid mistakes, concede a soft early goal, and then you're chasing the game, aren't you? It's difficult.
Also, if we're getting beat 1-0 with 5 minutes to go, 90% of the teams, I reckon, but you know what, we've focused still win the last 5 minutes, 2-0. So what? It's like we don't lose any more points, do we? Let's go and try and get it. We never did.
No.
It's so disappointing that. But I just watched that game, and it was hard work. It really was. Absolutely hard work.
It was hard work. Yeah, it was hard work. But I suppose, it maybe didn't go quite as badly as a lot of people maybe anticipated it might. But ultimately, we've lost the result of it all. I mean, if you had to pick a man of the match, I know you said it's difficult. It is difficult. Who would you go for if you was pressed into picking one?
Bloody hell, that's a tough one. I suppose the goalkeeper, just because he didn't make any mistakes. Just the goalkeeper. That's all I can do. I mean, he didn't have a lot to do, our goalkeeper, to be fair.
No, he didn't.
So by default, he gets it, and it's a default one.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can argue too much with that. I mean, it wasn't, nobody really stood out, and he did make a good save as well, didn't he, in the second half when he needed to from, I think it was Gundogan, wasn't it, had a shot and he saved it well. So, he did what he had to do and he did his job well. So I guess, I don't think we can probably argue too much with that. Russell's agreeing with you as well. He says Leno, and Steve then.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that either, because their weakness was their weakness, if they had one, is their left back, then it's Zinchenko. So why not put Saka on him? And he did later on in the game, but it was too late, wasn't it? That seemed a bit of a strange one. But anyway, I guess he has a reason for it. I don't know, because Pepe never works on the right for me because he slows everything down.
Exactly. And Saka's better on the right. He's been tricky on the right. Just I don't want to have too much of a go at the manager because I'll go into one, but just that substitution to Bios to bring him on and you've got Martinelli on the bench. I'm not saying Martinelli would have scored.
Yeah.
You've got more chance of getting a goal, surely. You're looking for a goal. You're not looking to play fabulous football. I don't care if Holding was giving it 50-yard balls. Oh, no, I'm going to be Holding went off. But Louise gave 50, 60-yard balls into the box. Hope it drops to Martinelli. I don't care. No interest. I just want a goal. I don't care how it comes. Yeah. And if you've got Ceballos holding it, turning, flicking it, or doing what you want, it ain't going to happen, is it? Not in 5 minutes.
No, I was mystified by it. Yeah, I was mystified by that. Yeah, I'll bring on another attacking player and need a goal, not shoring up the midfield. That didn't matter at that stage. But if you're winning or we were drawing, that was a good substitution. But not when you're losing. Yeah, very strange. But again, it's Arteta's learning on the job, isn't it? We've said this, and maybe that kind of shows it sometimes. His inexperience in managing those situations better. You know, most other managers would have brought another attacking player on last 5 minutes and gone for it, lob balls into the box and just thrown everything at it. And we've never done that yet this season. That's why we've lost so many games, because we're 1 goal behind in the last 5 minutes and we don't throw the kitchen sink at it. We haven't done it all season. And that's why we're not scoring last minute goals. We said that the other night, didn't we? When was the last time we scored a last minute equaliser?
Right, yeah.
We haven't done it because we don't throw things at it, do we, in the final stages? And it's frustrating that, because
I know
we've got the players.
I know what you're just to actually, I know it might sound mad, but you're saying about he hasn't got the experience and this, that, and the other. If you were playing a Sunday league game, your manager, with 5 minutes to go, would bring on some big centre forward with a beer gut, wouldn't he? Rather than a little delicate midfield player. You know, you don't have to have experience. And yet our manager doesn't do it. It doesn't. No. It just drives me mad.
Baffling. It is baffling, because what you've got to do is just, even if you put one of your centre backs, move him up pitch. Yeah. Managers have done that before. Just bring one of your centre backs and play him up front for the last 5 minutes. And you never know, lump the ball forward. It can fall to anyone, but we don't do that, do we? We just never have done it yet. And that's what annoys me when you're 1-0 down at home. It was the same against Burnley. It was the same against Wolves. We were 1 goal behind at home. Yeah. We didn't do it against Leicester. We were 1 behind last 5 minutes. We didn't do it. We didn't do it today. You know, away going to Aston Villa, another one. You know, it's a series of them all through the season, and these are something that we've got to improve on. We've got to change that, because otherwise we're going to lose a lot more games by the odd goal, and it is frustrating. It is really frustrating for me, but you know, I suppose it is what it is. We move on to Thursday. You confident still for Thursday?
Yeah, I am. Because we'll have different. I am confident. I think that you've got to wipe this one away. Hopefully, the boys will. I don't think it's true, but hopefully they think, "Oh, we're Man City. They're too good for us," which is a horrible thing to say. But you know, let's go on to someone we can beat. I think Benfica are a very poor team, and we've only got. You know, we've got to play better than obviously we did today. But you know, I think hopefully we can and will. They've got to score a goal, Benfica. And what I saw the other night, I think they struggle. I really do.
Yeah, I think they will. Hopefully we can get through, and at least we'll keep the season alive for a bit longer with the Europa League next round, hopefully. But we'll see what happens Thursday, hopefully. I guess. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Melvin. Just give everyone a reminder of where they can find you.
Find you on this channel. You can find me on From Bowl Square to Where, and also on Mr. Arsenal 89's channel with Ryan. Thanks for having me on again. Didn't really, you know, I wasn't looking forward to doing this, but I've done it now. Get it off my chest. I don't know.
Good. That's what it's about. When we lose, it's about getting it. When we lose, it's about getting it off your chest, and when we win, it's about enjoying it for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Speak to you soon. Thanks, Richard, again. All the best.
Cheers, Melvin. Speak to you later, mate. Take it easy. See you. Bye. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
And now we've got Sam joining us. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm all right. How you doing, Richard?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. What did you make of all of that today then? The performance and the result and everything else?
Just nowhere near good enough for me. I just didn't really feel like we actually showed up. We started lethargically, which is a theme we've had all season. You know, this starting on our back foot, not really getting going. It's a puzzle to me. I mean, I think it's a mixture of poor management, coaching, and also having no captain. You know, there's no captain in the dressing room, getting everyone going, fired up when you go out the tunnel, go out to the game, getting everyone ready to go. You know, it just never seems to happen. We always just start really slowly, like we're just, we're playing football today. Is that what we're doing? You know, it's just not good enough. And we all said on the panel over on Ryan's show, watching the game today, we said, you know, just watch us, you know, concede within the first 10 minutes. And it took, 2-3 minutes. just not good enough, unfortunately. And so many players just, you know, nowhere near the mark what they should be. You know, just not giving it enough, not playing well enough, and it's just not good enough. You know, I'm sorry, today's performance was really bad, and if it wasn't, you know, one of many similar poor performances this season, I would be more sympathetic with Arteta and the setup and everything. But unfortunately, it's just, again, it's the same thing again that we keep seeing. And it is very worrying for me when it comes to Arteta. It really is. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's one of the big issues for me, is that this hasn't been a one-off kind of weak performance. It's been constantly throughout this season. So it's 11 defeats we've had in the Premier League now, which is the most we've had at this stage of a season for a long time. I can't remember last time we'd lost this many by this point. So yeah, and that's the problem that we've got now, because all those early defeats now, every single defeat we have means a lot more. It's a lot more important, isn't it? I mean,
they're less points on the league table.
Yeah,
and you know, the chickens come home to roost, don't they? You know, you lost all those games, like you say. That's it. You know, now that haunts us. You know, we're struggling now to get back up the table, and it's because we've been so far down the table, and you know, it's just not good enough. You see the squad we have. You know, I know we have some issues, some certain positions, but you look at the squad we have on paper, and you just look at it and you say, that squad's not a 10th place, 11th, 12th place team. No. You know, we need to be a lot higher up the table. Maybe not necessarily top 4, but definitely within a shout for Europa League spot. Definitely, you know. So we're underperforming grossly, and also in terms of progress, it's well, you know, are we showing progress? How? I don't see how anybody objectively and logically can explain to me how we're showing progress. How? Where is the progress in terms of evidence? You know, look at our league. All the statistics, apart from our defensive record, is better. Apart from our defensive record, everything has gone the wrong way. It's going the opposite way. Our league position, the amount of losses we have, we're breaking all the wrong records. You know, we finished 8th last season, which we're all really disappointed about. I said, listen, we've got to push on from 8th. 8th is nowhere near good enough. We're much lower than 8th at the moment in terms of performance-wise and what we're doing. So the progress is not there. So it's just like, why are we persisting with this? You know, why are we deciding, or who, you know, why we've got so many fans still who are like, oh, let's give him a chance to do what? Where is the progress? Why is he not showing us what he should be doing? And I know there's people saying, well, you know, he hasn't really had his players yet. Well, but he keeps giving some of these players that aren't good enough, you know, he gives them extended contracts. He keeps playing them again and again and again, and we keep saying the same things again and again. You know, Xhaka keeps making mistakes. Holding keeps making mistakes. Bellerin is constantly out of position, and he keeps playing them, you know, and that is managerial decisions. And you say, oh, he hasn't had a chance to buy his players yet, but at the same time, he's playing players who shouldn't be playing, you know, and it's just so frustrating. It shows me I'm really worried about Arteta. I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's at the level we need to have as a manager at Arsenal Football Club, pushing on for top 4. You know, looking on to next season, I just can't see. I really can't see at the moment, even with Arteta buying a few players, 4 or 5 players, how many he's going to be able to buy in the summer if he stays. I just don't see how he's going to even push on with those players, because tactically, he shows so many mistakes, you know, man management wise as well. Substitutions are poor in terms of what he does and how late he waits. And, you know, and it's the motivation as well. The players just don't seem motivated at all either. So I just don't see where we're going with Arteta. And yeah, well, I've gone on a bit now, sorry.
No. I mean, to be honest, this is what it's about, isn't it? There's some games where we're going to come away feeling on top of the world, and there's other games where we come out feeling really, really frustrated. And I'm feeling really frustrated today as well, because I said before, I thought this was an opportunity that we could have got something against City, because they didn't play particularly well, I didn't think. And yes, maybe that was to do slightly with how we set up to play, but you can't start in the way that we started a game today against a team like Man City and expect to get anything from it. I mean, I mean, Rob Holding, for me, I don't think he's good enough for a top Premier League team. He'd be all right for someone like maybe West Bromwich Albion or somewhere like someone like that. But he's not good enough for if we want to progress and move up the league. He's not good enough. He makes too many mistakes. And today, I mean, how he's allowed the 5'8" Sterling to get that heading, not just him, Bellerin as well, between the two of them. One of them's got to take control of that. Holding as a centre-back should have took control of that situation. He should have seen where Sterling was and dealt with that cross. It was just a floated ball. It wasn't a whipped-in cross that's difficult to defend.
It was ball watching, wasn't it? Ball watching.
Yeah, and that's all it was. And it was really, really poor. And unfortunately, against a team like Man City, you go 1-0 down after 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was game over pretty much realistically, wasn't it? After that, it was 88 minutes of us huffing and puffing without really doing a lot. And just in the end, Man City had 1 or 2
chances. It looked easy for them. It looked so easy for them. It looked like they weren't really out of second gear. They were just in second gear. They were comfortable. I think if they really wanted, if we had pushed back and scored a goal, I think they could have easily gone up a gear or two and probably come back and beat us again. I just but what's disappointing? I mean, I'm really disappointed today is not so much in the game itself, because I wasn't expecting to beat Manchester City. Of course, honestly, I couldn't say I was expecting that. But what it is, as I said right at the beginning, it's the culmination of all these performances this season that have just not been good enough. The way we start on the back foot, the way we sit back and play like we played today with 2 holding midfielders, and we sat back. And I can understand sort of why when you're playing against Manchester City, you want to maybe sit back a little bit because they're going to press you. But at the same time, when we're 1-0 down and we need a goal, right, to come back into the game, we're still low. We're still sitting so deep, like we're winning 2-0, like we're defending a lead, and we just can't get at them, And that, to me, again, tactically, is just so poor and incorrect. And one of the things why I think Arteta needs to realise, that you've got to adapt tactically as well during the game. He's supposed to be good at adaptation, which he has shown sometimes during the season, but then, so many games we just sit back and on the back foot when we should be on the front foot, and it's just the setup's just all wrong. And today we set up all wrong, came out, as I said, lethargically, like we weren't even switched on. And that's how many games this season that we come out not switched on. It's all the time, right?
Far too many. I mean, Steve's made a good point here. I don't think we're good enough to win the Europa League either. And that it leaves us 13 games. Well, technically, you say we've got Leicester next Sunday, just sort of 2-3 days after we're in Athens for the Europa League game. And, are we going to realistically get a result against Leicester? So that then leaves us 12 games because...
Well, you look at our next games, Richard. You look at our next games in the league, we've got Leicester, we've got Burnley, we've got Tottenham, we've got West Ham, and we've got Liverpool.
Yeah.
So those games...
Liverpool might beat, maybe.
Liverpool, they'll probably have a few of their players back by then, probably. So,
maybe,
I mean, those games are going to be tough. And then I know after those 5-6 games, the rest are, on paper, winnable games against the teams lower down the league. But, I mean... It's going to be tough, the way we play and everything. It's just not good. It's just not good enough. It really isn't.
No, it hasn't been. I mean, just finally, then Sam. I mean, I know that's difficult. Everyone's had the same problem. Who would you give man of the match to today if you had to pick one?
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? Because I think everyone really underperformed. For me, I think the closest you get to someone who, let's say, did the least amount of poor play. I mean, I had a halfway decent, acceptable game is Saka for me. I think he looked okay, had a few decent involvements. He looked okay today. I think he's the only one who really gets away with the best result. Leno was also quite good in goal. You couldn't really fault him in goal either, but without having to do too much in goal, I don't think he had that very nice save against Gundogan. And he had a couple of other nice involvements, but when he didn't really have more than that to do, I can't really give him man of the match. So for me, it has to be Saka, and everyone else is just not good enough, really. I mean, other players are okay, and then most of them are just really poor.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. No one really stood out, unfortunately, and while we lost 1-0. Just before we go in, Sam, just where can people find you on social media?
No, I used to have a channel. I don't really run my own channel anymore. So I'm mainly a guest on other people's channels. Like I'm a lot on Ryan's Mr. Arsenal podcast. I'm with Daniel on the Blind Gooner, with the Arsenal Fan Circle, the American guys, and I just join in where I can, basically. Yeah, and you can, my Twitter handle's just on the screen there at 1980_Greenwood. You want to follow me on Twitter? Post a few things throughout the week on Arsenal and other football stuff. So yeah, it's been a pleasure pleasure, Richard. Thanks for having me on. It's always good fun to analyse and talk about Arsenal. Well, good fun is in terms of talking about it and analysing it, but the game itself was terrible.
It wasn't the best one. So hopefully next time it'll be a better game. We can talk about an Arsenal win and a few goals, hopefully. But
exactly,
we can't guarantee that, unfortunately. Not at the moment, anyway.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on anyway. Take it easy. We'll speak again soon, mate. Yeah?
Cheers, Richard. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
And yourself, mate. See you later. Cheers.
Bye.
And talking to Ryan, Mr. Arsenal, he's here. How you doing?
Well, how do I start?
Well, exactly. Yeah. It wasn't the most fun 90 minutes of our life, was it? Let's be honest.
No, far from it. It's our 11th league defeat, our 13th in general, and I think Stephen on our watch along, I was doing my channel before coming here, put a stat up saying this basically 3 more defeats this season, and that's a club record for Arteta. There's another unwanted club record, and I'm starting to doubt him. Like long term, is he the right man for the job long term? Would it be out of line to say his main objective was to get Champions League, no matter what? Secondly, European football. It doesn't look like we're going to get either. Let's be honest. Our rivals are losing today. Villa and Tottenham respectively lost today. This is a perfect opportunity not just to take over one, but gain on another as well. And yet again, time after time, they bottled it basically. And today, the performance going to the game itself, they didn't even try. Even in the first 2 minutes, it was all Man City have the ball, and then Man City clocked on and thought, you know what, we'll just see, go test you. They took their foot off the gas, and even then, we didn't even try. Let's be honest. Didn't even test Ederson. Ederson didn't have to be on goal. They could have literally just had him off on the bench or on the sidelines having a drink, and it would have made no difference because we didn't actually test him. And look, we all lose games. We know that there'll be defeats coming along the way, but when they don't even try, that makes it even worse. Especially no matter who it is, we expect the defeat or not. When your team is not even trying to even get a draw or a result or some way or the other and put a performance in, that hurts even more than a normal defeat. I was just thinking, and I've got people, when you question Mikel, people going, well, there's no other manager out there. There's no other managers out there that would do that. That will come to Arsenal. I mean, Rafa Benitez has just left his job in China, so he's a free agent. Allegri, who infamously is known, both times the job's been up for offer, he's wanted the job. It's been down to Gazida's been an idiot the first time, and Raul being Raul going for the cheap option. And let's be honest, Arteta is the cheap option out of all the options we could have had, and we're getting what we pay for now. And this is a massive. Even though I've supported Arteta up to this point, because his appointment, there's always the fear of mine that he had no experience at managing a football club as a manager, not being an assistant. He's the main man.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of it this season, and he's not learning from mistakes. I mean, you guys have touched on the substitutions, like the previous guests, and touched on substitutions today. I mean, that last one, it still hurts my head. It hurts my head. We're 1-0 down, and he's literally not going for the win. He's not going for the draw, so try and get back into the game. He's just like, I've got an extra sub, so why not? It just felt like that.
Yeah, I was baffled. Why would you bring Ceballos on when you're chasing the game the last 5 minutes? Yeah, baffling. If he was the only sub you had left, you could maybe understand it. But when we had Martinelli still on the bench, and even Willian, he's more of an attacking player at least. I know he's rubbish and he's crap, but to bring on Ceballos as a extra midfield player, that's what you do when you're winning a game, not when you're losing. And he's done that before, hasn't he, as well? It's not the first time he's done similar things. I mean, Mark's little comment actually about rating players 1 to 10. I sometimes do that. You do it on your channel as well sometimes, don't you?
Sometimes,
rating the players. It does happen, but yeah, maybe when we've won a game, it's a little bit more fun. When we've lost, they'll all get 4 out of 10. They'll all get 4 out of 10 today, probably.
Yeah, these sort of performances, they all get pretty much ones or zeros. And we may not have scored one in that, by the way. Rashford just scored for Man United, but holding is doing my head. I mean, the defence itself is just ball watching, defending. It does my head in. I've said it for years. Why the ball watching, defending, and then Tierney just gets thrown back into the Lions' den basically because it's a big game. Oh, you know what? There you go. Basically, he played a full 90 minutes, but he looked shattered himself because he's not match fit, obviously. So for me, if you're gonna, it would have made more sense to start him on Thursday, get his some sort of fitness up, get him at 60, and then bring him. Because now he's just thrown him in. He's just got torn apart the entire game pretty much defensively.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, I mean, Mahrez in that first 10 minutes absolutely took him to the cleaners, didn't he?
Yeah, literally. And then when that ball comes in that second minute, why are Holding and Bellerin just standing there, no man's land, just ball watch, moving about, ball watch, and surprised that Sterling's standing there, man open.
I know. That was the worst.
There's nothing that they could do because he's completely exposed. He's hoping his defenders can actually defend.
Of course. I mean, that's probably, I would say, I mean, without looking back on all the goals we conceded this season, that's got to be up there with one of the worst goals. A 5'8" player getting a free header from 6 yards when you've got 2 defenders either side of him. It's that's just mental. I mean, it wasn't even a whipped in cross, was it? It was just a floated ball. It was in the air for ages, that ball. Holding had plenty of time to adjust himself and get. I mean, even Sterling had gone too far. Actually stopped, went back, and still managed to head it without being challenged. It was that's the worst goal I think I've seen us concede. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And it's Holding's fault and Bellerin's fault for just literally not even speaking to each other, not looking around, not seeing where the danger was, and just standing there and watching. I mean, that was terrible. And against a team like Man City who don't concede goals, you're letting a goal like that after 2 minutes, and what can you do? You know, I mean, yes, we didn't play particularly well after that. It's certainly not in the final third of the pitch, but, you know.
It's just...
he did look annoyed with himself, But, you know, I guess he was just frustrated because he knew he wasn't quite up to the speed of the game, having not played for a while, perhaps.
And also, in terms of we'll go back to the subs as well again. Why has it got to be at a certain time that he makes the subs? It's all of a sudden, he's doing that Wenger trait where it's like, I'll wait till a certain time of the game and now I'll make the sub. We could all see the issues. Anyone that's watching the game at home, we can all see where the problems lie. We're all saying at half time, this person needs to come off, that one needs to come off, that one needs to come off, that one should go on, etc.
Yeah.
And there's no substitutions. There's no reaction. He's reactionary. He's not proactive in these substitutions.
Yeah. No. I mean, what did you make of Aubameyang today?
What we've seen all season, poor. Let's be honest. Since he signed that contract, it's like, as I was saying on my channel earlier. Sorry, it's like the Özil situation again, where Özil signs a contract and then suddenly, what? I've got what I wanted now. Put the handbrake on, and you can say to an extent. Obviously, he's had his issues off privately with his mum and all that. But for a whole season, and now he's back now. Mum's fitting well. She's getting better. What's the excuse now?
Well,
he's scored goals since. He scored a hat-trick last week against Leeds.
That's the thing that's the thing that's frustrated me. He got a hat-trick and then he was terrible against Benfica. And I thought today that was the worst performance I've seen from an Arsenal striker for a long, long time. He was dreadful. Every touch of the ball was going off. He got pushed off the ball far too easily. It was just horrible watching him today. I always felt sorry for him. That's how bad he was. And I thought, just take him off. I'd have took him off at half time because that first half was as bad as I've seen from anybody who played for Arsenal this season. That was dreadful. I'd have just took him off at half time and said, look, have a rest, get yourself refreshed for Thursday and go again. And I'd have brought Lacazette on or Martinelli at half time. But he kept him on, didn't he? And then in the end, he moved him to the left. He looked slightly better on the left, I suppose. But he was just dreadful today. I mean, you know, for someone who scored as many goals as he scored for us over the last 3 years, that was just not acceptable, that performance today. I thought it was dreadful, and I'm surprised he got the full 90 minutes. Actually, really surprised.
And I don't care, captain or not. He should have, as you said, he shouldn't have started. If he's going to be in this sort of form, he can't start. I mean,
Well,
Lacazette was in full.
Maybe start him, but at half time today, you've got to take him off because that first half performance, he just wasn't at the races at all for whatever reason. I mean, look at the Chelsea manager yesterday. He brought Hudson-Odoi on, took him off because he didn't think he was doing enough. I mean, that's a manager who's proactive and wants to, who cares about making the team better. That's a manager who knows what he's doing. You know, to give Aubameyang a full game today is absolutely criminal for me because he was dreadful. And it was like playing with 10 men. It was literally like it was his fault that gave away the goal, wasn't it? Because he gave the ball away.
Gave the ball, he didn't track back. He didn't run back.
We lost possession and they scored. And that just summed it up.
So this is another thing. When Arteta came in, all the players worked together. They were all doing what Arteta was asking, like getting back. Even Aubameyang was helping out Saka at left back at the time, or wing back, whatever you call it, just before COVID. And this season, they're not doing that anymore. They're all out for themselves. And again, in the long term, that's concerning for me. And was that little blip of success? I say the winning streak we had from Boxing Day till the end of January, just a blip, and that it really covered the cracks of what he has lost aggression because the players themselves they don't really look interested compared to when he came in. They didn't. No. They can say it, but when you actually see it physically, they can't. You're not seeing it though. No. That's the thing.
I mean, you say about that run we had, right? But if you the Chelsea game we played well. We played pretty well against West Brom, but then they were just absolutely dreadful. And we played pretty well against Southampton away. But other than that, the other games that we won, we didn't play particularly well. And we drew a couple of games. Crystal Palace at home was poor. Man United at home was poor. You know, we beat Newcastle at home. That was poor for most of it. You know, we scraped past Newcastle in the cup, but that was poor. You know, we didn't lose any of them games, but we didn't play particularly well in most of them. And then now. The performance is the only time we played well, funnily enough, was Wolves in the first half, and we ended up losing. And since then, we've just been average. I know Leeds was a good game. Yeah, it's just we've just really been really average again, like we were before Christmas. And this is a similar kind of run of game. Just the Leeds game maybe was a one-off, perhaps for lately. The way that we played that day, Leeds were very open and made it that sort of game, and we managed to get the goal. But even then, we were shaky in the second half of that game. So I don't know, something's not right. It's not working. And today, more than anything, you could see that, yes, maybe you could say little bits here and there with a difference today at both ends of the pitch. We were terrible defensively at the beginning and they had a bit more quality in the final third than us. And the rest of it was quite even. But as someone put in the comments earlier, you could take this one defeat if it hadn't come on the back of all the others that we've added this season as well, just adding to it. And unfortunately, this is where we are now. We can't afford to lose any more games, and we just keep losing. That's three. What's that? 3 in 4 games, isn't it, in the league now? 3 defeats in the last 4.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 because we lost to Wolves, lost to
Villa, now
lost to City and beat Leeds in amongst it. That's concerning for me. And again, as I was saying earlier, as a big club, because we all get this PR from Stan Kroenke every time something goes off. Oh, we want to be competing for the Premier League. We want to be competing for the Champions League. Well, okay, you set Arteta a target of your Champions League first, foremost, European, like Europa League, as a worst case scenario. It doesn't look like we're going to get either.
No.
If he's going to fail both objectives, first season or not, as a big club, you have to then sack him. I'm sorry to say, but it has to be done as a big club. Then you have to go out and put your money where your mouth is then, and then go and get an experienced, world-class manager.
Yeah,
and people won't like the names I sort of say, Benitez or Allegri, or because I mentioned Allegri in my stream, and there's someone in the I don't like I don't want to watch defensive football or negative style, that sort of style of football. I'm like, but is this any better than watching an Allegri team? Let's be honest.
It is.
Allegri won 8 league titles back to back, won the domestic cup 8 years in a row as well. He got them to 3 Champions League finals. He's rated higher than what Conte is in Italy.
Yeah.
And look at how he did in Premier League. He was how well he did in his first season. I'm not saying Allegri will come in and we'll win the Premier League first straight from the off, but I'm saying we need some stability and we need for that we need a world class manager. I'm sorry, and that the Allegri's, the Simeone's, the Rafa Benitez's of this world.
I would have took Tuchel, in November, December when we were losing. I would have took him straight away, and I think we've missed an opportunity there because he didn't cover himself in glory yesterday with his comments about Hudson-Odoi. There's no need for that in public, but you can see he knows what he's doing. He's got his head switched on, and he's going to make them successful. You can see it already. And I think we've missed out on an opportunity to get a good young manager who has got experience as well at the top level. And I think he would have been perfect for us, actually. But anyway, we've lost out on him now.
And how many times have we done that as well? Missed an opportunity. Yeah. Jurgen Klopp, 2014. Pep Guardiola, 2012.
Yeah. No, we have, yeah. And
it's
unfortunately,
it's a common occurrence with our club, and I'm sick of it. So
we might be in the same, we might end up in
the
situation again,
Yeah, stop with the PR rubbish now, Stan Kroenke and Josh and all that. If he's going to fail the two-man objectives you've given him, you have to then get rid of him, and you have to then put your money in your mouth and show us you want to compete. Because you're not showing us what you want to compete anymore.
Ambition, they need to show
top. Yeah, exactly.
They need to show that ambition, and if we don't show the ambition this summer, then if we don't show that ambition this summer, then I mean it's just going to be a disaster, isn't it? Just quickly going in mind, who would be your man of the match? I know it's difficult to pick one from that performance, but if you had to pick one, who would it be? Would you say? It's a hard one. I know.
I'd have to go to the goalkeeper because outfield-wise, is no one that stands out for me really because they all had a poor game. We've got to be brutally honest about it. And Leno had the lesser to do, and the goal wasn't his fault. And when he was called upon for actual saves and crosses, he did his job. He was actually doing. He actually looks stable and not on edge and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, no, he did well.
It has to be Leno for that because the outfield itself as a whole. There's no one that really stood out for me because we were that poor because we didn't really go for it.
No,
there's one person that grabbed the game for the short and curlies and go for it. Then you could say that person, but no, it is what it is. Newcastle v was, by the way.
Oh, excellent! Who's got for Newcastle?
St. Maximum.
Oh, good lad. Good.
There we go. Positive.
They might win. That'd be good. That'll cheer us up. Then another team dropping points on a week that we drop points as well. Brilliant. Just give your channel a little plug before you go as well.
Yeah, thanks for that. Again, thanks for having me on for this. You can find me on the Mr. Arsenal podcast here on YouTube. Obviously, I do the Arsenal watch-alongs, reviews, previews up weekly podcasts. I'm also doing now the European football's back, Champions League, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll pick a game out of whatever's going on and go with that and do a watch-along for that. So that's like a neutral perspective on the games. There's not I can actually enjoy the football as well for once.
Yeah.
And obviously Europa League on the Thursdays, the quizzes as well. As you know, you're the current champion of 5 times on a row.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
But you was pushed last night. You was pushed.
I was. It was tough last night, actually. I nearly I had to finish strongly last night. So, I needed to dig deep and then come up with some good ones at the end.
Yeah, especially that Neto clue, that first on the 5-pointer.
Yeah, that won it for me, so I was delighted with that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But no,
that's the sort of stuff I do. But thanks for having me on again.
No problem at all. Always a pleasure, mate. And I'm sure we'll speak again soon anyway. Thanks for coming on. And hopefully the next game will be better on Thursday, but let's see.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, exactly,
In terms of first to touch on Thursday, I think it sort of benefits Arteta because we got the away goal. Benfica have to come at us, have to open up, and that's what, as we've touched on before, whatever he started, that's what it thrives on. Last week. But with a positive finish off on, maybe.
Exactly. A positive. We're going to win on Thursday, go through, and we're going to win the Europa League. There you go. Brilliant.
Oh, God.
Imagine, that would be great, wouldn't it? Anyway, where are we still in it? We've still got to believe that we've got a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming on, everyone.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Take it easy, and we'll speak soon, yeah?
Yeah, no worries. Cheers, bye.
Cheers, mate. See ya. And it's Albert JTV. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, Rich, always a pleasure to see you, man, irrespective of results.
Yeah, well, it's just as well, isn't it? Because the results aren't great, are they, overall? But I mean, what did you make of that today? Because I can't decide. I mean, it wasn't a great performance, but I can't decide how to feel about it, if I'm honest. I don't know if I'm unhappy, frustrated, disappointed. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it because overall, a 1-0 defeat to Man City, the form that they're in, probably isn't a disaster, but I just don't feel as though we played well enough at all.
Spot on, mate. Yeah. with the lineups, right? I don't get too invested in them anymore, just purely because Arteta, we have no idea what this guy's going to do. So when people was asking me about predicted lineups, I said I expect 4 changes minimum. There was 5, so I was like, okay, give or take. But Rich, you know what? It went exactly how I thought it would. The only difference was City didn't have to get out of second or third gear.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like Gary Neville said in the commentary, it was City. It was a brutal start. We even had a warning before the goal.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, just before.
Yeah. And Rich, as for the goal, right? I don't know what you think, but listen, you know my thoughts. I've been pretty consistent about certain players of if I think they cut the mustard at Arsenal. Let's put it that way. But with the goal, Rob Holding, right? He sees Sterling. He does see him. He does before the cross comes. He sees him. Now he must be thinking, I'm in a good position. If I miss it, my right back's going to come around and cover me. That's the only logical explanation I can think why that they've let a 5'7" guy score a goal who doesn't score any headers. So it was baffling. So we was all right for but at the last 10 minutes of the second half where we sort of got a tiny bit of a foothold. The only positives, again, Rich, in another game of Arsenal is our best method of attack was from the left-hand side, from a guy who's been out for 4 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, mate, not great. I mean, and they had more chances to score, mate. To be honest, to finish the game 2-3-0 in the first half.
Yeah, well, they did, and I mean, I thought that first 10 minutes we looked like we hadn't even met each other before. Literally, we was all over the place. Nobody knew what they were doing. Nobody seemed to have a clue. Every time we got the ball, we just gave it away, and it was dreadful. We were trying to play it out from the back. We were put under pressure, and I don't know. We did settle down after that, and like you said, towards the end of the first half, we got back into it a little bit, and we had a lot more possession. But I never ever felt at any point we were going to score. We never looked as though we were going to score. I thought our final ball into the box was poor actually today, wasn't it? It was
like we were Rich. Like the thing is, I get we're playing City before people start getting carried away, and you know, is it City? But if you're at home, people can talk about the crowds as much as they want. We know what the situation has been for about 9-10 months. 70% possession City had in the 25th minute away. I mean, and the thing is, we're playing a formation which is actually supposed to help us a bit more better with the attacking final third, because people got bored of playing the 3 at the back and 2 wing backs. But yeah, the only positives in the first half, Rich, and there wasn't really many, was obviously Kieran Tierney was getting into wide areas, but we wasn't particularly really getting him behind City centrally, was he really?
No. I didn't think we didn't get Odegaard in the game, did we? We didn't get him on the ball in the areas where he could be dangerous, and unfortunately, that's why we didn't create anything, because we had no one else. Obviously, no Smith Rowe in the starting lineup, so we had no creativity other than Odegaard, and he just didn't. I mean, maybe Man City didn't allow us to get the ball to him as well. Give them credit for that, perhaps, but we just didn't get him in the game, did we? It was frustrating because I didn't feel City played particularly well. They didn't have to, did they? I suppose.
Yeah, you said it. You're right. They didn't have to play. They didn't have to get out of second, third gear, mate. I mean, the second half was a bit more. It was a bit more even. But I thought both sides were sloppy in the second half, like the first 10, 15 minutes. But Rich, I got to get onto the subs, man. I listen.
Yeah, go on.
I said before, if you're going to play this system with a 4-2-3-1, right? Obviously, you have to play either Lacazette or Aubameyang. You don't play both of them in the team. I'm sorry, you just don't. My question to Mikel Arteta: are you saving Martinelli and Lacazette for Europa League? Richie's not.
No,
he's not.
They didn't play Thursday, did they? So obviously not.
So I couldn't believe Aubameyang stayed on the pitch. I'm being serious, man. I honestly. And the thing is, we know that his hold-up players are fantastic. That we know that's throughout his career. But when you are playing against a team that's dominating possession of the ball, and when you do eventually get the ball, you've got to hold up the ball better than that.
Yeah,
he was anonymous.
Well, I would say was.
I'm shocked he stayed on.
I would say worse than that. I thought he was dreadful today. I thought his touch on the ball was terrible. He was weak. He was getting pushed off the ball.
Yeah.
He contributed nothing positive at all in the whole game. And like you said, I was amazed. I would have took him off at half time. I would have took him off at half time and got Lacazette or Martinelli on instead, because they would both was going to offer us a lot more. Both at holding the ball up and also, I mean, Martinelli doesn't get pushed off the ball like that, does he? Not very often. You know, he would have given Stones a little bit more of a battle. Aubameyang just literally rolled over and let him tickle his tummy all day. It was embarrassing, honestly. I almost felt sorry for Aubameyang because he was shot to pieces in that game, and it was embarrassing. I just took him off. You've got to take him off. You can't leave him on that pitch when he's playing that badly, having no influence at all. And that was, again, Arteta maybe needed to be stronger in that situation. You know, I would have took him off at half time. That's what I would have done, and then maybe brought Lacazette on, and at least we'd have had a focal point of our attack then, because we didn't have in the first half, because nothing was stick to Aubameyang at all. I mean, it was his giving the ball away that led to the goal as well, wasn't it? It just bounced off him. He wasn't the only one, but he was particularly poor for me today. I thought that was the worst performance he's had for Arsenal. That was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Rich, they're saying that we had a shot on target. Now I've got a good memory, but I don't remember I don't even remember who took the shot.
It was Tierney in the first half.
Oh my God, that tells you everything, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Apparently, apparently we haven't scored against City in our last 4 Premier League games. A goal, we haven't scored a goal.
No, we haven't. No, I mean, and then we concede a goal like that after 2 minutes, and then we haven't scored. A team that aren't conceding goals anyway, we don't tend to score against them in general. And what are we meant to do from there after 2 minutes? The game's over, isn't it? Really, It was over, and Man City knew it was over. They didn't get out of second gear. You know, they didn't need to. They got minutes into De Bruyne, which they needed to do. You know, Gundogan played a full game, even though he's just got back from injury as well. And they just seem to take it easy, Man City, almost as though Pep thought, I feel sorry for Arteta. I'm not gonna spank 4-0 today. Yeah, we'll just settle for the 1-0 and that's it. And we were never going to score. Not at any point in that game did I feel we were going to score. Actually, it was just, I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to find any positives from that. I mean, is there any that you can think of off the top of your head?
The only positive was that Tierney got 90 minutes. That's the only positive. There wasn't anyone else. I thought, you know what, I could see, but Saka tried, but I generally, that performance, we didn't create anything. There wasn't anything to shout about. We didn't. The subs were wrong. I thought, I think you've been even more harsh. I'd have bought him off when the subs were made. I would have bought Aubameyang off and put Lacazette on. And even if he was going to take Pepe off, he wasn't fantastic. Then you put on Martinelli. I don't know. I don't know, Rich, mate. I don't know what was. Yeah.
What did you make of? Because he's been good on the right, hasn't he? And then he switched him on this game to the left-hand side, and he did go to the right later on when he brought Pepe off. But did you think maybe Saka would have done better if he'd maybe been attacking Zinchenko instead? Because obviously he's their weakest defender, probably, isn't he, Zinchenko?
No, Rich, I'm glad you brought that up. I almost forgot that. Like, I was going Guna TV Media's channel saying, like, unless it was tactical from Arteta, I didn't understand why they was playing on opposite sides.
No,
that confused me. I was like, well, why are you? Surely you must have seen when you played Pepe in the 3 out of the 4 games you played him in, he looks a bit better on the left because it gives our team a better balance. So I couldn't, Rich, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't understand that decision to play them two on the opposite flanks.
The only thing that I thought could be a reason is because maybe Tierney and Pepe don't combine very well together. Because when Tierney's been out of the team, that's when Pepe played on the left. He didn't play on the left when Tierney was in the team before, and Tierney's back in, and then Pepe suddenly over on the right hand side again, and Saka's on the left. Because Saka and Tierney did link up quite well at times. It's about the only positive from the way that we played, actually. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the reason, but I was baffled really by that. It took me 10 minutes to suddenly realise. I think, hang on a minute, why on earth is Saka over there and not on the right hand side? What's going on here? It took me a while to figure it out, but yeah, that was a baffling one. I mean, I know it's difficult, but if you had to pick a man in a match, who would get your vote today? I know it's really, really tough because
it's very slim pickings. But yeah, I generally would give it. I know you know that I love Kieran Tierney in it, but to be honest, it's for him to be out as long as he's been out. He had a tough start. You know, Mahrez is not easy to deal with. Let's be honest.
No.
But he rode that storm, and he actually gave us our probably best opportunity to actually get forward and be a bit more progressive, as he always does. So he was, for me, would have been the obvious sort of pick, Rich, mate, to be fair.
Yeah, no, he did all right. Yeah, I thought him and Saka down the left were probably our brightest parts of the game, really, the performance overall, I suppose. But yeah, it wasn't. Nobody really massively stood out, did they? Unfortunately, it was pretty average. I think everyone was about a 4 out of 10, if we're perfectly honest, perhaps really in overall. But you know, I mean, Man City are a good side, but I just wanted to see us a little bit more. And I thought we could have maybe got something if we'd really gone for it a bit more, maybe. But anyway, we'll never know now. It's finished and we've lost. And, you know, the top six is now looking even more difficult, isn't it? With the games we've got left to play, everyone else is picking up points generally. I know today was a good chance for us with Tottenham losing, Villa losing. We had a chance to make up some ground, and we haven't taken it again. And here we are, mid-table once again. You know, with another tough game next week. I mean, what are you thinking about Thursday? Obviously, it's still a big competition for us, the Europa League now, probably even more so, perhaps. I mean, do you think we've got enough to get through that, and more than that, go on and win the competition, possibly?
Rich, nothing would make me more happier than to see Arsenal win an European trophy again.
Yeah,
because it's been too long, mate. 94 is a long time ago. It's a long time ago. We've put ourselves in a predicament, mate, because of not doing what we needed to do in the first leg and kill the tie off. I expect a better performance from Benfica, because irrespective of whatever you think of their domestic league, they've got some good players in that side, Richard. So I was quite surprised at how poor they was in the first leg.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
So they have to come and get the goal. The only positive is that we got the goal. Because I always say, when you play away in Europe in a knockout tie in the knockout stage and you're away in the first leg, you have got to score, because you leave yourself wide open if it's 0-0. But Rich, I'll be honest, I haven't got a clue who this guy is going to pick in the team. I've given up probably 3-4 months ago. So it's like I said, mate, is he saving Lacazette and Martinelli for the Europa League? Because I don't understand why they're not featured for 2-3 games.
No. I mean, you'd have thought that, but then if he was saving for the Europa League, you would have played him on Thursday, wouldn't he? Surely, and he didn't. I mean, he's going to end. I think we're going to end up with on Thursday night. I think it's going to be a very similar team that started last Thursday. Actually, you know, maybe Tierney will come in at left back again, and I don't think there's going to be too many changes from that. I think Ceballos will come back in. I think David Luiz and Gabriel will come back in. Smith Rowe will come back in. I don't think there's going to be too many changes from that team that played last week, which baffles you to think that, you know, why not play Lacazette and Martinelli today? Start them then. If that's going to be the case, just doesn't make any sense, does it?
You're right.
But
I just don't get it, mate. I don't get it.
No, it's baffling, isn't it? It really is. But anyway, I suppose we just have to move on to Thursday and hope that we can get through this and we can find some way of winning the Europa League, which is going to be tough because there's some great teams in it. Our squad depth doesn't look that great. But let's try and be positive if we can. Move on to Thursday and hopefully we win. Just before you go now, but just obviously give your channel a plug, because I know you're doing some great stuff as always.
Yeah, no, cheers, man. It was it's a good stream yesterday I did on my channel. It's something very, very different to what I would normally do. Big shout out to Callum and James, looking at football from a very different point of view, from like a broadcasting sense. So it's good to get them on and talk about that in that way. But yeah, Rich, thanks for having me on again as usual, man. Appreciate it. Love coming to your channel. Albert J TV, very easy to find. Twitter handle is there at AUMO57. Come and subscribe.
Definitely subscribe to Albert's channel because it's good stuff, and I'm sure we'll be talking again very soon, mate.
Yeah, we will. Absolutely.
Definitely. Take it easy, yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Nice one, mate. Take care, bro.
No problem. Speak to you soon. Cheers.
Bye, mate.
And finally, we've got Russ from Arsenal Central. How are you doing, Russ?
Hello, mate. Been a while, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. Yeah, I've just got a new job recently, so yeah, I've just been really, really busy. That's why I haven't sort of put anything on for the past week or so. But yeah, it's just hectic, mate. Hectic. How you been keeping?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Just trying to keep up some content on the channel and whatever, and doing some bits and bobs, which is always nice. What did you make of that today then? I mean, frustrating, wasn't it?
just poor, mate. It was just we didn't even bother trying. I think it was sort of Arteta sort of, I thought some of the guys have already said it before. He's sort of waving the white flag before balls even being kicked, isn't it? It was just awful. It was just insipid. It was just like just before Christmas, wasn't it? When we were on that run of just playing drudge football. We just it's Man City. Don't get me wrong. So I didn't expect anything out. I thought we would lose like about 3-0. But I suppose losing like what I'm very positive, you know me. But I suppose losing 1-0 is not as bad. But it's just drudge, man. I just don't like seeing us play like that. It's awful.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was painful to watch at times. And I mean, what did you make of the goal we conceded? 2 minutes into the game? I mean, that's got to be one of the worst goals I think I've ever seen us concede ever.
I saw it coming, mate. I think I said I was on Ryan's channel during the watch along, and I said, yeah, if we make it past 10 minutes and without conceding, I'll be happy. But no, straight 2 minutes, first attack, bang, goal, and that was it. Man City didn't have to do anything after that because we were never gonna threaten. We were never gonna get a goal. It was they didn't even have to get out, as Albert said before, didn't even have to get out of second gear to beat us.
No, they didn't. It was, and sometimes it made me think. I thought that they were there for the taking, in a sense. I don't think they played particularly well, but had we stepped up our game and maybe got a goal, you could have seen them going up a gear and getting another one if they wanted to. They didn't need to score another one, did they? And almost, I'll say, like I said to Albert, I think almost maybe Pep felt a little bit sorry for his mate and thought, well, let's just settle for 1-0. It doesn't look too bad. And then, we get the 3 points and at least Arteta hasn't got a humiliating defeat like we have done a couple of times against City. So I don't know. It looked that sort of game to me. I don't know. But yeah, it was poor. And I don't know. Our quality in the final third today, I thought was poor. I mean, what did you make of Aubameyang?
I thought he was just, I don't know whether he's not interested or what, but to be fair, I mean, it is Man City. He's not going to get many chances. But I thought he was isolated. He didn't look interested. He was brushed off the ball too easily. It was just a nothing performance from me, mate. I think you guys said it before. I would have hauled him off at half time as well, to be fair. Put Lacazette on, even though when Lacazette did come on, he didn't really have sort of any chance to sort of make an impression on the game. But it was just one of those games, really. We were never going to break them down, especially with the midfield pair that we had in El Neni and Xhaka. It was just too slow in the transition. We weren't getting the ball up front quick enough, and Man City were just sort of dealing with everything we threw at them, really. And as you said, it was Tierney who had the only shot on goal, which is that sums it all up in a nutshell.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean that's the issue we've got, though, isn't it? Obviously, Thomas Partey is injured at the moment, and what have we got? We've got Ceballos, Xhaka, and El Neni. Basically, we've got 2 out of those 3 have got to play when Thomas Partey is not around, and unfortunately, whichever 2 of those play, maybe Ceballos and Xhaka may be a slightly better partnership than Xhaka and El Neni, but it's not great, is it? It's not enough. It's not good enough for what we want, and we can't rely on Thomas Partey playing every week because, as we've clearly seen, he's not able to do that in the Premier League yet. Maybe it's too fast and physical for him yet. He's got to get used to it. But that's our problem area for me. And today it was highlighted even more. I mean, unfortunately, we can't just keep playing Xhaka and Ceballos every single game, can we? He needed to rotate somebody. But personally, for me, I felt as though the Benfica are not as good as Man City for a start off. Mm-hmm. So why not rest players against them? Go full strength today. Rest players against, but we should still beat Benfica. With the team that played today, could beat Benfica, I think. Why not play? Smith Rowe played today. Why not have played? The proper defence with David Luiz and maybe Gabriel, stronger defence. Why not have gone with that today and maybe brought these other guys in on Thursday? Because I still think we'd win that game on Thursday with that side. Just didn't make sense to me. The league's still important. We need to finish top 6, surely. We're not going to win the Europa League, are we, really, if we're honest?
No. At the end of the day, today, it was lucky he sort of got away with it, because if we took a drubbing, we would have been put about another 3-4 steps backwards in our progression, wouldn't we? As I say, with the Europa League, yes, we need to get through. And I think Benfica aren't a very good side. They showed that in the first leg. We've got the away goal, haven't we? So at least they've got to sort of come at us, haven't they? So, I think we can beat them.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I say, I think we got a little bit lucky today. They didn't push us as much as they could have, and and the league is important. I mean, if we got a real drubbing today, it'd be big trouble for Arteta. I mean, I think he's already got a lot of people on his back already, but we just don't show up in these games, mate. That is the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, no, it was really, really frustrating today. I think really just that first 10 minutes. Because you can't start that poorly against a team like Man City. You've got to be on your game and at least make Man City work for their goal. Make them have to work hard for it if they're going to score one. And we just gave it to them, and then it was up against the wall after that, and we just never had enough quality to get back into it. So yeah, really, really frustrating. I mean, I know it's difficult. Everyone's found it difficult again. Who would you pick as a man of the match if you needed to pick one? I mean, it's really hard, really, really hard today.
Well, I said in the comments, mate, it's got to be Leno, innit? Because he was the only one who didn't do anything wrong. The rest of them, it was a nothing game. I think Arteta went into that game saying, yeah, we're not going to win anyway, so just do what you want, basically. And no one had a good game. No one was standout for us at all. It was disappointing, mate. Really, it was frustrating. Really, really frustrating. I don't want us to see us play like that. No,
I don't either. I mean, losing to Man City, as we said, isn't a disaster because they're a really good team. They're going to win the Premier League, and they're on a run, 18 wins in a row now. So, it's acceptable to a sense to lose to Man City. But I agree, it's the way that we played. And it's not just this game. Someone put in the comments earlier, it's not just this defeat. It's more all those defeats earlier in the season that are the problem. So every single defeat that we have now, we've got Leicester next week away, coming back from Athens on Thursday and then playing Leicester on Sunday. I mean, it's going to be amazing if we get anything in that game, I think. And then suddenly that's 12 defeats in the league, and we're another 3 points further away from the top 6. And suddenly it's looking to be a really difficult end to the season. If we don't win the Europa League, if we get knocked out either this week or if we get knocked out in the next round, then the season's been a disaster for me, an absolute disaster. And where do we go?
Yeah, where do we go? I mean, that's the thing, though, mate. You can't. Every other team is dropping points. That is our only saving grace. You got Spurs losing games. You got all these other teams that are sort of in and around us, but we can't capitalise on them losing. That's the issue. We're lucky. We're playing on a Sundays, and we can see that these guys are dropping points. But we just don't. We just don't take advantage of it. I can't understand why. Every game we start slowly, and that comes from the manager. And at the end of the day, I'm just getting fed up with him, mate. I really, really am.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It is hard to watch at the minute, and it's not just one or two games. It's nearly every single game is difficult to watch. The Leeds game being the exception recently. That was a decent game, but that's more to do with the way that Leeds play and anything to do with how we play. They're very open team, exciting to watch, and every game that Leeds play is good. But yeah, I mean, it is not what I want to see from Arsenal. I don't mind us being defensively solid, which we've been a lot more defensively solid, but we've got to offer more at the other end of the pitch at some stage in games, and we're just not doing it, are we?
No, we're not.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that you've picked Leno as man in a match, you're not the only one who's done that. Kind of sums out really, because the rest of them, did I say that? I thought it was an average performance. I thought everyone was maybe 4 out of 10 at the most, really. 4 or 5, maybe. Saka was all right. Tierney maybe at times.
Tierney's our talisman, mate, and he had a bad game.
Well, he was a bit off it, but he hasn't played for a while. But yeah,
it's true.
When Tierney's a little bit off it, you know that you're having a bad day because usually
big trouble. Yeah,
exactly, and that's obviously, unfortunately, how it works out. But anyway. Just before you go, Russ, just give your channel a plug because I know you've got your own channel now, which is great to see.
Yeah, it's your fault. Yeah, guys. If you could just follow me at RuggyBoy101 and my channel's on YouTube's Arsenal Central. I just usually just sort of match reviews and stuff. I try to get out 2 a week, but sometimes I'm just busy, and sometimes I try and roll them into one. But then every so often I'll just do an episode, just my general thoughts at the moment. Yeah, and at the moment it's not positive, mate. So. Yeah, no, you know me.
It's difficult to be positive at the moment, to be fair. But the good thing is we are still in the Europa League for now, and I'm going to stick to the kind of positivity that while we're in it, we've got a chance to win it. And until that changes, I'm going to remain positive. But once we're out of that, then the season's finished and done as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. And it's wait to get it out of the way, and hopefully next season we'll be better because we'll be able to go to games again, and it's going to be a lot better all round, hopefully. But anyway, if we win the Europa League, it'll be all right. But let's see what happens. Well, thanks for coming on, Russ. Great to hear your thoughts. Great to chat to you again. Obviously, it's been a while. I know you've been busy and stuff like that. It's good that you've got a channel as well. I'm over the moon about that. So,
it's your fault, I told you.
Well, you have to get one. So, yeah, please come over to Arsenal Central as well. Subscribe to Russ as well and watch his videos as well, because it's all good stuff. So thanks for coming on, Russ, and we will speak again very soon. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Richard. Take care, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, take it easy, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
Oh.
So that was Russ there, and that was the post-match reaction show. As you can tell, the general feeling hasn't been great, as it wasn't a great performance. Another defeat. I say our 11th defeat in the Premier League this season already, which is very, very disappointing. Stay tuned to the channel, because tomorrow I will be doing a full review video of this game. I'll look at it again and go over and try to find a couple of positives if I can, and if not, then I'll just say how it is, and that'll be that. And then we'll look forward, obviously, to the Benfica game on Thursday. I'll do a full preview of that game as well. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday that'll go out. I will do a watch along of the Benfica game as well on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks to all the guests for coming on. Check out their channels as well. Obviously, there's Albert JTV, DWTT as well, Ryan Williams, and Mr. Arsenal podcast, Arsenal Central there as well. Melvin was on as well. He hasn't got a channel, but definitely follow Melvin as well. So yeah, thanks to all my guests for coming on. Thanks for everyone in the chat as well. Obviously, Steve was in earlier on as well. We've had Luca in as well. Thanks for joining us, Luca. Hope you're well, mate. And there's a few people there. Mark as well from New Zealand. Hope you're enjoying what I'm doing. Dan as well earlier, and Kaza as well. So thanks for all you guys. Shane as well. Earlier comment as well. Men against boys. Yeah, exactly. Totally right, mate. Totally right. Wasn't really good, was it? But anyway, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support of the channel. I'm going to get off now to have something to eat and reassess the name of the channel being positive at the moment, because it's quite difficult. But I'm sure things will get better eventually. Hopefully on Thursday we can come back, get through the Europa League, and keep the season alive. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching this show. And in the meantime, of course, as we try and put this difficult defeat behind us and move forward, come on, you Gunners! Come on, Arsenal! Let's bounce back Thursday.